Hello everyone, welcome to FPL Jedi Show Gameweek 18 Deadline Stream. We are here at the midnight and with me, I would like to welcome Azmin to the show. How are you? How's your week, Azmin?
Good. School starting again next month in a few days, and going back to office again next week. But other than that, FPL, yeah, it's been a bit disappointing, but it's only been 1 week, so I'm not gonna be too worried about it.
Yep, to be fair, there's a lot of drama, but I feel most of the players performing last week, you can pick and choose anyone. Then most of it perform. To be fair, whether you have like the Arsenal, the Chelsea, the Liverpool, the Man City players, but sometimes you need to be patient because not everyone going to perform every week. So because it's a long haul, but what we can say is actually going to be thick and fast coming this Christmas season. We had game week 17 deadline on Monday. We now going to have game week 18 deadline tonight on Friday night because there'll be two fixture coming up tonight. Okay, later we share the game week 18 fixture, and then game week 19, the double game week so-called will be on Tuesday, right? Or Monday night. So there'll be a lot of things to cover. That's why we might not have catch up on the midweek show, but we're definitely going to run through the deadline streaming. Okay. So
Yep.
I think let's jump straight to what we have performed
Cool.
in game week 17 first. Uh, we go to your team. The average point for game week 17 is actually 72 points. So you scored higher than average point, but despite that, a little bit red arrow for you.
Yeah. So it's a disappointing bit. One is of course the keeper Goita, and I'll start with that quickly. And I'm lucky that I managed to run away with 3 points regardless. Despite Palace having two players sent off, and I picked Guita mainly because the whole news was that Mitrovic wasn't gonna be around, and which turned out to be Silva being a sleazy, sneaky manager. Yeah, and then he turns up and then ends up assisting and scoring goals. So yeah, but somehow, but didn't help that the Palace defenders got scored out, but you're not complaining. Robertson again, another return despite again not keeping a clean sheet, but he still managed an assist, so it's fine. Trippier, of course, as we all know, just continuing to tick along without fail. So credit to
I
Newcastle.
think we can say Trivia could be one, if not the MVP for this season. So by the end of the season,
Hmm.
we will definitely evaluate
Yeah,
who's the best performing player. But
I'm
yeah, could be one.
surprised. Yeah, because and funny thing is, if you were on Twitter, there were some of these FPL YouTube personalities who benched him. I think Seb Wassel was one of them. He benched him.
Oh,
I'm not sure why. Maybe I didn't look up his previous videos to his rationale, but it just didn't seem right considering Trippier, clean sheet or no clean sheet, he's just chugging along nicely. Um, then you have James, who I think most of us were in that same boat, risking it, and of course he had to get injured, so it's fine. So
I think
Foden
this is
and
actually
KDB,
the big news for Game Week 17 is actually Racy
yeah.
James.
So this is a whole lot for this week. We'll be discussing on who to replace James. But anyway, so quickly, Foden, KDB were my major disappointments, and I think the most people who didn't will have Rashford and Salah, who both performed, and with Foden and KDB didn't. When I look at scores, a lot of people end up on 90 plus points. And yes, if I had Rashford and Salah, then I may very well have ended around 90 plus points. But that's 1 week. As will they be consistent? I don't know. But you think that um, you I'd hope that Foden and KDB will perform. But one thing to point out here is that Foden was actually benched. So it's a worry, but at the same time, you'd think that if he was benched last week and did come in as a sub, he will start this week. So we'll see. Almiron is just like Trippier, maybe not as many points, but continues to tick along, and I'm happy with him. And if you looked at the goal he scored, it showed just how good Newcastle are looking now, and the confidence level that Almiron has. He's just picking up where he left off before the World Cup break. He's
Yep.
just slaloming past defenders and bursting past and taking on no shame. And at the same time, okay, so again, then we have the ever present Martinelli, 8, so no problems as well. But the thing, of course, with them is that they're not getting that bonus points, but that's just because of the quality of the team as a whole.
So just a bit on Almiron, yeah. Just a quick look at this for the past 9 matches. Okay, come from before the World Cup break, he only blanked
Yep.
one. So he really needs to be in our team. And even though his price is not high like the others, maybe people overlook him. But Newcastle really on form right now. I think he could easily the best next player after Trippier, definitely.
Yeah. So then, so moving to my strikers, Tony, who was, but I would say it was a calculated risk because I knew that Spurs defense were out because of the World Cup. Lloris wasn't playing and Romero wasn't playing, so I thought it was pretty good chance. And at one point, Brentford did go 2-0 up before uh,
Yeah.
Spurs did on their now typical late show, waking up for the second half and managing to draw. But Tony did get a card there, so that's probably why he also ends up with no bonus points as well. It's a shame because I thought that Brentford would do more than that, but but at least I still got a return.
To be fair, when Tony scored goal, I text you, man. So I knew it. Oh, Azmi got Tony, and what a pick.
So Haaland, well, again ticking along, again coming back. Just Haaland and Almiron are the two who weren't around. And the other one was Salah, of course, 3 personalities who wasn't around for the World Cup, and they just came back. And of course, we have probably the most frustrating player this week to own, which is Darwin Núñez. As a Liverpool fan, of course, I watched most of it, and at one point, I just wanted to turn off because it was so frustrating watching him. He gets chances, but the chances. No wonder he's, if you haven't noticed how many in the statistics, how much chances he gets. That match was a showcase of just how much chances he can get and fail to find his foot. But he's gonna have to score at some point. So the chances.
And he could start tonight when Liverpool against Leicester. So I'm still be patient with him.
Yeah, I do expect him to start given the injuries. Okay, then you have Ward, who I did expect Newcastle to trash Leicester. I think Leicester just lucky it wasn't a bigger goal margin. Andreas, even though of course he didn't get any real points, but watching he was doing all the set pieces, so he's really active and it's just a
Actually,
timing
if you watch the highlight, he actually hit the post and woodwork in that match against Crystal Palace.
So the challenge with Andreas, as before the break, of course, is the same, which is when to not bench him, and then where he will all those stories. Then you have Patterson, who of Everton, of course, got crashed. I'm just trying to figure out why I put Patterson there. I know he's a cheap guy, but is he gonna be any worth? And then finally Bueno, who got a lot of hype. Unfortunately, the issue with him is that he was subbed late, and Alt Nouri, who replaced he replaced him. He replaced him as a substitute. He helped score the winner, helped in leading up to the winner. So he'll be fighting for it, and now suddenly Bueno doesn't seem so safe anymore.
So Bueno actually sub out 58 minutes, 56 minutes, something like that, and he only got 1 point. If not, it's 2 points.
Yeah.
So that could be a concern, but we shall see against Manchester United.
We shall see.
Okay. So I think it's the same pick. Most of the bench you are like me. Later we see my team, but I think James is the one that we need to deal later.
Hopefully.
So quickly to my team, like Azmin did mention, I'm on the positive side because I got the 99 points win. Because I have Salah and Rashford, like you mentioned, my rank actually jumped from 77,000 to 43k right now. So I'm delighted with that points. It could be more, but I think this is a good start because we need to get this momentum going. I kept my combo Kepa and White. Kepa delivered 9 points, 1 save point and 2 bonus point. You could easily got nothing. Okay, so that for Kepa. For Cancelo, frustrating because he's been benched and coming at 1 point. I'll take 1 point instead of Patterson 0 point. So I think we need to be patient. I feel Cancelo will start this week against Everton. All right. James, as you mentioned, I watched this match, man. Is it late at 1:30 a.m.? Yes. And then I saw Resi James like going down and it's around 52nd minutes. Oh my God, at least get me a clean sheet, but it was not meant to be, and looks like his injury recurring back. We shall see the team news. I think we know Potter did mention, or Chelsea has announced that Reece James
Yeah.
could be out for the next 1 month. So that's a concern. Without James, I think other Chelsea players, not sure who else is the better side, but we know that Mount and Havertz did score in that game Bournemouth, so maybe that could come into our thinking. Trippier
Yeah.
12 points. Everyone will have him. If you don't have him, I don't know why you will not have him. It should be number one defender you should get. Forget about Trent, forget about Robertson, even Cancelo. Trippier is number one defender right now. Okay, he
Yeah.
got an assist, 3 bonus point, clean sheet. What else can you ask? Okay, so Salah, I expect something, but he got 12 points. So I think it's decent enough to think that Salah against KDB debate, they call it, okay, continues. Salah did perform this week. We're not sure about game week 18. Later, Everton, Manchester City will face Everton. So maybe KDB could return in that game. So anything is possible. Rashford 14 points. I really want a Manchester United asset, and Rashford will be in my team. So that's why I keen to have him instead of Foden. Like other people maybe wants triple up for Man City asset. I understand because coming up game week 20 and 23 there will be double game week for Man City. But I feel I want to take opportunity on the next 3 matches of Manchester United. They have like last week against uh, Tunia against Bournemouth, this week Wolves, and the other one again again Forest, and then the other week again Bournemouth. Almiron 8 points. I never doubt that he will be in my team. He has burned me before the World Cup break, so I quickly get him in, and he'll be rewarded with 8 points like others. So I still feel he will be there. Martinelli 8 points. What can I ask? Maybe Martinelli. People mention maybe Arsenal said you should get Odegaard or even Saka, but Martinelli still deliver. Although maybe people mention one attempt, one goal. Never mind. For now, Martinelli stays because I have like some value there. Right? Darwin, I never doubt on these 2 points. Maybe people are concerned because Darwin did not score, even though if I may say 4 big chance and he missed all, but it shows that he's actually got the chance and he just a matter of time, and maybe against Leicester this week he could haul. So I don't think people should concern and replace him with the likes of Mitrovic, although Mitrovic did haul last week, game week 17, right? Haaland, nothing else we can say. 13 points from Haaland, a captain, and Martial got a goal, 6 points. So I think if not, that slot could be Mitrovic. That one maybe I'm a bit frustrated because Mitrovic starts and scored a goal and 2 assists and got 15 points, something like that. But nevertheless, I think we made the right call because Silva did say that he might not available or start. So I think we made the right call, even though Mitrovic actually starts and deliver. So other than that, I also get the same bench like you, me, Peterson and Bueno. I have to do it
Oh, it's
again.
exactly the same. Yeah.
Yep. And I have already made my move. So later we shall see what transfers I have made. So quickly before we go to the team news, mate, the team of the week, maybe we just touch a bit, okay? Who the most perform? Mitrovic. Who else with 15 points? Okay, frustrated. A lot of managers would think that he might not start, but like we mentioned, Mitrovic can score any other day with any team. Kepa, the highest score with 9 points, but when I see back the total points in the keeper, because I saw highlight Brighton against Southampton, Sanchez did actually make a safe penalty against JWP. What Pros did
Oh,
score from the rebound, and Sanchez actually got the
yep.
same 9 points. So maybe he could actually be in this team. Okay, but the rest is double digit hauler all the way from back line until up front. I mean, Tim Ream scored a goal. He got 14 points. Trippier 12 points. Mina got 11 points. Everton did score against Wolves. Rashford, like you mentioned, 14 points. Not Trossard, man. Solly March is here, 13 points. So he could actually remind us maybe he can actually be delivering. Jolinton, whoever thought, 13 points, not Almiron or but Newcastle, to be fair, they actually really good as a team. Salah 12 point, Mitrovic 15, Haaland 13, and I don't know, the forgotten man, Havertz, he is now coming back to the frame. Total points, if we have this thing, is 138 points overall. So maybe you touch a bit, mate, on the team of the week.
Yeah, you could take hits here and there and grab it. The thing, okay, so I'll just quickly, okay, so March, yeah, so March finally starting to find the end product, but surprisingly, Trossard totally blanking, and of course, Trossard was always the more popular pick in that Brighton match, so it's a bit one of those sources of frustration. Okay, so Joe Linton's there, but um, because you got the Trippiers and the Almirons, and then if you wanted to really go all out Newcastle, who would your third player be? And the thing is, you would want it to be Callum Wilson because he's
Yep.
taking penalties, and but once again his random absence, and it was apparently it's not an injury this
Illness,
time, it
right?
was an
Illness.
illness. Yeah, yeah. But then Joe Linton steps up, and Joe Linton is probably one of the best, most improved players under Eddie Howe. Yeah, so and at its price point it's nice, but then when you look at it again, that the problem is our midfield is quite crowded with decent picks now, isn't it? So you got the Rashfords now coming in as well, Almirons, Martinelli's. Yeah, but to be fair, when you look at it, Almiron, Martinelli, they this week, for just using this week, they only got one goal and didn't get any bonus points. Well, on here you got Joe Linton who's scoring more, but it's something we need to look at. Is it worth tripling up on Newcastle assets? And I think it is, but we'll look at that when we study more. So Mitrovic, of course, yeah. I think the ownership was only 20+%. I think because a lot of people had sold him, and yeah, but so is it enough? The thing with people wanting to bring him back in is the fact that you've got the Darwins and the Haalands already occupying two spots, and the third spot currently is Martial is one of the more one of those options who's getting a revival under Manchester United. So, do you want to sell Martial for Mitrovic? Because it's hard to picture, are people going to sell Darwin for Mitrovic? I just
Oh.
don't see that. So it's a tough one, and it's hard to
I
tell.
think that will happen if, let's say, Darwin did not do anything in game week 18. I think maybe that will push people.
Yeah, then it'll be so it might be a lot more people still holding on just this week, and of course when it comes to transferring Mitrovic, the rationale is that, remember that he was playing at one point against 9 men, so maybe he won't be doing that well that much. But there's no doubt that Mitrovic is just so important to that attacking of Fulham. So Haaland, no comment. Havertz. So Havertz, if you remember, at the start of the season, I was
Yeah,
mentioning
yeah,
how
yeah.
I had earmarked him, but the fact that he got reclassified as a
Reclassified to
forward,
forward.
yeah, and now looks like he's picking up after he turned in that last game performing against for Germany, and he's clearly got a lot on his mind. he's pushing away, but again, as I mentioned, that forward is really crowded. So Mina, nothing to touch on. You're not going to see them do this regularly, so that's fine. And just one thing on Kepa. So yeah, so it was Chelsea put off a good run, and yeah, I think a lot of people had the combo of Kepa and Ward, and it paid off. So well done them.
But if you think that Kepa is actually something like big ownership, but he's not actually. He's still under 10%, to be fair. Let me
Yes,
have a
that's
quick.
right.
So means that people are 6%. So to be fair,
Really low.
not all managers are having him, and Pope is more popular.
Yeah,
So and Ramsdale. So I feel maybe some people keep Iverson. What compo could be and save money
please.
to go somewhere else. So but
Uh,
so
I'm still of that feeling that that Leicester team is just, I mean, they had a good run, but I think they're just gonna fall apart all over again.
okay, man. I think let's now leave Game Week 17 and move forward, which is Game Week 18. What's in
Yeah,
store? So we will have early kickoff this week. That's why we're doing deadline stream tonight, because we have two matches at 3:45 a.m. Then 15 minutes later, Liverpool versus Leicester. Very, very close gap between from Monday. And then on Saturday, we have early kickoff Wolves versus Manchester United. A lot of attention by managers in terms of Manchester United asset. At 11 p.m. Malaysian time, Bournemouth versus Crystal Palace. Bournemouth could actually take advantage of Palace. Two people are sending off last week. Fulham against Southampton. Really, really poor by Southampton side. Fulham or Mitrovic and the team could actually perform again in this match. Man City versus Everton. Poor Everton side. Man City are dominating last week again. Leeds 3-1, but it could be more. And this could be another holding for Man City asset. So if you have the likes of Foden and KDB, I definitely keep them. Then Newcastle versus Leeds. We expect Newcastle to continue their really good run. This could be another big win and a clean sheet, man. All right. And
yep,
then Saturday night, 1:30 a.m. we have Brighton versus Arsenal. I think this is a good match. Brighton versus Arsenal, both are at the king, but Arsenal really on good form right now. And then on Sunday, we have two matches, Spurs versus Villa at 10 p.m. And then we have 12:30 a.m. Forest versus Chelsea. So, Azrin, what's your early thought on Game Week 18 fixtures? You're on mute?
sorry. So obviously, yeah. So again, there's some juicy matchups here based on form, as well as based on just what happened in game week 17. So obviously, the first is Liverpool versus Leicester. Um, but yeah, so if Liverpool convert their chances, like what they did against Villa, they could actually trash Leicester there. Then of course you have got Manchester United. Uh, I okay, something we did mention at the start, but I want to mention it now is that I think not having Ronaldo is given them a real good impetus. They don't have to worry about having to please this big personality, and they can work together better. And that you saw, if those who watched the match saw, how well they are diving. But at the same time, that another test will be away against Wolves, who obviously, although they're near the bottom of the table, but under new management, I'm sure they're itching to see whether they can at least get something. So we'll see if they're Fulham versus Southampton is another juicy match. Assuming again Mitrovic is fit, or we heard some press conference saying that apparently he's ready, but he's not fully fit. Marco Silva being a bit of a nonce again. Then of course Manchester City against Everton, who's just I feel they're on their last legs with Lampard, so that's another juicy one. So the challenge here is deciding whether or not Foden and Cancelo will start this one after they were both benched in midweek. So that's something to think about. Newcastle versus Leeds. That's gonna Leeds of course got wasted by Manchester City, not as much as I'd hoped because I had for the KDB, but but it goes to show that Newcastle. But this one against another top side, which is Newcastle, who are in third place at the moment, I think. So that's another juicy matchup. Um, and there's also Nottingham Forest versus Chelsea. So Chelsea look like, have they finally figured it out? Has Potter finally figured it out? So against Forest, who got trashed by Manchester United last week, but this week they do have Henderson coming back though, because he was ineligible last week, so that'll be interesting. Those are the juicy matchups. Someone would argue that Brighton Arsenal is, but I don't think it is, because, well, Brighton are actually Arsenal's boogie side of late. Yeah, and so they've somehow managed. And plus, if you look at Brighton's defensive record at home, they've only let in 6 goals, which is quite an achievement for Brighton. I think they're at 7th place at the moment. I can't remember. I have to check.
Yep.
But yeah, so for me, that's not a juicy matchup. That's actually going to be a tough one.
Tough one. It could be actually entertaining. It could be high scoring game, but maybe later we come the team news. Main 2 players will not be available for Brighton. Okay, so that could be make
That's
a
true.
difference. All right, man. We jump straight to the team news. We go first. West Ham versus Brentford. What has been David Moyes and Thomas Frank been saying?
So with West Ham, you can see that. I think last week it was Ben Rama who scored from a penalty. Yeah, so we're still waiting for Bowen to come back and what he did last season. It's still not quite there yet. But the worry is that defensive lineup is starting to look really creaky. Yeah. So and even the likes of Antonio, they're not exactly young either. So I don't know. I mean, it's worry. But they were kicked out of the EFL Cup, but they are still progressing. They in Europe, so we'll see how. So he doesn't get as much flack as he should have, but we'll see. So on the Brentford side, so as we all know that Tony is still hanging on that ever ban if because of this betting issue that he has. So it's always a risk. For all he might just get suddenly picked up and decided, we're not going to let you play anymore. Based on the evidence. But other than that, everyone else is there. Okay, sorry, I did mention the Skamaka, which is mentioned up there. But West Ham are looking a bit.
Yep.
I'm worried for them. I'm worried for Moyes actually after having a good season previously. Looks like this season is just going to be downhill.
Yeah, I understand. And Brentford has been, maybe they might not be in terms of their lineup, but they still deliver even with the big teams. Again, Man City and then Spurs this game week 17. So Brentford is really a decent side. And if Brentford wins against West Ham this week, I'm afraid of the Moyes situation.
Yeah. I to be honest, I was actually Brentford to win against Spurs last week, but somehow Spurs found their second gear and managed to get the draw.
Yep. Okay. We go to the next one, man. This more attention by managers. Liverpool versus Leicester. We don't have quotes by Rogers, but what Klopp has been saying.
Yeah. So the main thing, of course, is that without, because Firmino is not there, Diaz isn't there, Jota is there. So those of us who are worried about Nunes, because of being so unable to finish, but he should start. He should continue to start. Because we just don't have many options left. So it's quite likely that it'll be a unchanged team. I think. Yeah, it'll be pretty much the same. Which means Oxlade-Chamberlain gets. To play as a forward midfielder, but it's not like there's so many good options at the moment midfielder. You want to really take a punt, you got to really have balls to go for him. But otherwise, Salah, Nunes are there, and I just want to highlight Robertson, who last week, if you saw, he was playing much further forward than TA. Yeah, and I think he'll just continue to do well. On the Leicester side, so Leicester, we haven't got any press conference from him, from Rogers, but I think it will be the same all side. But we know that Madison will not be back, so that's the For me, that's the biggest
Yep.
problem with
Yep.
Leicester. Not being a medicine is so important to, and he's clearly, whether or not he's playing to find a place away from Leicester, or but because he's definitely motivated regardless. Other than that, there's one guy there, not there. Who is that? Other than Johnny Evans, James Justin. Yeah, he's still out. So James Justin, who does quite well. He's much better than Castagna, but he's there. So the main thing, if you look at the predicted lineup, which I think is correct, is that we'll see Vardy come back to the starting lineup, in place of Daka. But I don't know. Leicester, I feel, is a bit like Everton. They might be on their last legs as well.
All right. Maybe Azmin touch a bit what the signing Gakpo is. I think it's already confirmed, but he will be available only after January. So I think that's another exciting one coming for FPL.
It is, and it opens it up and a bit more because I would think that Gakpo will probably replace Oxlade if at that point, because Diaz has a further setback, so he's out a bit furthermore. Yeah, so yeah, we'll need it. But Gakpo, yeah, I'm
Yep. Very
excited.
timely. Yep. I'm excited to know which position and how much price he will be. All right. So maybe that's for another session. We talk about him. But next one, main, which is Wolves versus Manchester United. What has been
Okay,
the
so
manager saying, man?
no, we don't. I don't think we have anything from Wolves at the moment. But
Wolves, we have something, but maybe Manchester United no embargo press conference.
yeah, I didn't take anything. But of course, the biggest difference and the biggest threat to most of us coming off the World Cup break is our bench Bueno. Will he return to the starting lineup after his replacement had a cameo that helped lead them to the win? So we would hope that at least it's someone who'd come in, but it's under threat, so we'll have to see what happens. But regardless, they managed to find a way to win, and which will help the new manager and he gets ready for a first home game, and unfortunately, it is against another Manchester United who look spirited. On the Manchester United side, so as we can see, the likes of Dalot are still out, and who's that guy? Who's that winger?
Is it Malaysia?
Sancho.
Is it?
Sancho.
Sancho.
Jordan Sancho seems to be on some different training, some
Okay.
fitness
Yep.
issues. I'm not sure. But one subject we can just quickly touch on is the fact that Fernandez is he still a FPL option these days? Because when you have the likes of Rashford, who's listed as a midfielder, doing much better, and of course there's a lot of other midfield options in other similar teams. Will we ever see Fernandez from 2 seasons ago where he was just rocking it?
Yeah. Understand. There's so much love for Manchester United, Rashford especially because he's assist and goal, as we
Yeah.
Martial a bit also. So I think they are a bit lower price compared to Bruno. But we shall see this game.
Yeah.
Then we have a clearer picture from the two
Okay.
matches who are the better asset.
Yeah. Coming back to the defense, so Martinez, who apparently has returned to training, and may quite likely replace. Actually, Shaw was playing the centre back role with Varane. So if Martinez comes back, then Shaw will get his position, which I think is going to be really attractive. And I think we've seen a lot of interest in Shaw as a replacement for
James.
Mr. James.
Okay, man. We go to the next one. Bournemouth versus Crystal Palace. I don't have Crystal Palace news, but what has been Gary O'Neill been saying? I think he also should be yellow flag there.
I don't know. Yeah, something's going on. So Bournemouth, some virus, but of course, we don't have any um, real details, and we saw Elphick's injury news was everywhere from the Chelsea game, so that's more or less what he said. So we'd expect those who played to start as well. But whether or not they'll be in top form, I don't know. But at the same time, they maybe they're fortunate because now they're going up against Crystal Palace, who have lost uh, um,
The defense.
well. To be fair, it's only really Mitchell. Yeah, because
Yep, yep. Because Mark Girl
yeah,
is coming back.
yeah, Mark Girl's come back and Anderson's back. Anderson will back. So it's not as bad as you would think. So and I would think that, but it's just that Crystal Palace will probably be very frustrated considering it was a home game that they lost to Fulham. Yeah, and now you would think that they might want to bounce back, and I think they have a chance, especially if the issues with Bournemouth are as what we've been hearing. Yeah.
All right. Okay, we go to the next match, man, which is Fulham versus Southampton. Like you mentioned, Marco Silva, what he has been hinting in terms of Mitrovic fitness.
He's so slimy. He's becoming that manager who you think, oh, and then suddenly turns up, or
I
oh,
cannot trust
he's
what he's
ready.
saying right now. After this,
Suddenly he disappears. Yeah, so it's quite dodgy. But yeah, I mean, so it's a risk picking in Mitrovic if you say he's ready but not 100% fit. So
I think if
I read.
it's 70% fit, Marco Silva will definitely pay him also.
Yeah, he I mean, this creed is just a short one, summary, but he went quite a long bit about talking how he's been training, but that he can't train like everyone else. He needs a few more breaks after a long bit longer break after each match. But my interpretation is that he'll start. uh, okay, so on the Southampton bit, it's getting worrying. I think that Nathan Jones is so off. He's it's just not his level. He's not gonna get there, I think. But we'll see. So no one
Yep,
significant really, but it's not like
yep,
we're picking anyone from this squad, are we?
yep. Only Mitrovic that interests us, and most probably he will start, even though he's not 100% fit. Let's go to Man City versus Everton. What has been Pep been saying? Will KDB, Foden and Cancelo be starting?
Yeah, he wouldn't mention as to who would start, whether there's any rotation issues, but all he said was about Alvarez not gonna be around. So yeah, so I guess the question, which is whether or not Cancelo and Foden start. So this predicted lineup does have them starting. Mahrez also start. Now the thing is with Grealish, although he did assist, I think he assisted two of Haaland's goals, but he wasn't exactly the best player. I mean, he was quite careless, and he was losing the ball, misplaced passes. Foden is definitely better than him, but yeah, it's a bit of a. I think if I think Foden should start. I
Yeah, I
Foden
agree.
will start. So Lampard confirmed that DCL is fit. Yeah, so what? You're not gonna pick him. But he's gonna end up like Reece James at this point. So so Mina will train, but yeah, he did do well if you remember. But then he was actually in the team, but yeah, he'll be okay. But he was quite coy and didn't really think. But then you would think that the main people will start anyway. So the likes of Patterson, those who are taking a punt of UOB or Mope, yeah. So they'll be ready. They'll be fine. But it's doomsday for Everton. This one,
Right.
City
Okay.
just too strong.
I think Man City going to win big against Everton this week. Next, the other one, another strong team, Newcastle versus Leeds. What's Eddie Howe and Jesse Marsh been saying, man?
Okay, firstly, I want to put Howie also in the group of sneaky, slimy managers. If you remember, so on Wilson? Okay, in the press conference before uh, their match against Leicester, he did not mention at all there was a problem with
Yeah,
Wilson.
I understand.
Right?
Yep.
You remember? After the match, he had this press conference and said, "Oh, Wilson hadn't trained for 2 days." You see the day he didn't mention it in the press conference, but after that he said after the press conference, oh yeah, Wilson didn't start because he hadn't trained for 2 days, and that information you already knew before. during that press conference. So
Sneaky,
it's
sneaky. Yeah.
and something we have to take that into consideration. Having said that, Newcastle are doing really well anyway. But no, so what if Calvin Wilson has improved? Don't pick him. It's just not worth the risk.
Okay.
So
But if
I
let's
have a
say, but let's say you have Callum Wilson, I think you just stick him in and see how it goes.
No, pick Mitrovic. Because it's just I mean, to be fair, with Mitrovic, the problem is he's got a sneaky manager. With Callum Wilson, the problem is that he's also an injury prone. We've seen
Okay.
his yeah. So now yeah. So anyway, so sorry I gone on a rant about that one. But okay, but yeah, but Shelby again another setback to his injury, so it's a problem. But it doesn't matter because you're looking at that squad. It's quite strong,
Yeah.
and Wood scored that penalty. And by the way, Wood is gonna Leeds is one of his former teams, so he might be up for it as well. Uh, so even if Wilson is fit, who knows? Will he start? I don't see why. Why not let him continue to have another? It's too soon. Yeah, let him rest a bit more, get
Understand?
better. So anyway, so on the lead side, so, yeah. So those who mentioned as you were, which was Bamford, and Somerville's there, but Greenwood when he came on, he did assist. And yeah, so
Okay.
you might see a Pochettino Greenwood getting a start there, but we don't know. One thing I want to point out with this Newcastle Leeds match is that um, the fixtures, Newcastle have had 48 hours more rest. If
Okay.
you remember, City versus Leeds was the last match
Yeah.
of game
On
week
on
17, which
Wednesday.
was
Yeah.
on Wednesday, and this is going to be on Saturday. So Newcastle, on the other hand, played in the opening on Boxing Day. So you think Leeds had to chase the ball a lot against Manchester City. So you would
Tough
think
luck
that
for
Newcastle,
Leeds.
yeah, it's going to be hard for Leeds.
Yep. Understand. So other than that, yeah, Patrick Bamford still not returning to training. So I think Leeds continue to play whatever that they have right now. Next, Brighton versus Arsenal. I don't have Arteta quotes, but what has been De Zerbi been saying?
Right. So Arteta. So okay. So there's been things coming in, because us Arteta was having a press conference. Was supposed to be around 12-ish or something.
Okay,
So,
all right.
but there's no real change. Okay. So ESR, he says, has made some big steps in the last week, which means that he's not going to be ready yet. Okay. In my opinion, but Tomiyasu is available.
Hmm.
So will that impact? I'm not sure. Um, who would he replace? Ben White. So it does. Is there's a potential risk there for those with White, but I don't know. And remember, Arsenal still
Really?
didn't keep a clean sheet last week. So I don't know with the Tomiyasu. I think it's already a risk for those who have Tomiyasu. Other than that, let me just quickly. Yeah, I think that was it. Yeah, nothing else of significant. In terms of the team news, everything else was fine. No Jesus, of course, and everyone else is fit.
Okay, all right. We expect a strong Arsenal lineup. It could be the same lineup as before, but
Yeah.
Brighton will miss two players. I mean, which is Moises Caicedo,
Ah,
okay, and
and
then the
McAllister.
other one, McAllister, who is not
Yeah,
back yet. So
yeah.
I think
Sorry. Yeah, I jumped to Arsenal then. Did mention right. So that's the point because McAllister and Caicedo are quite influential there. Yeah, so it'll be will Brighton be able to cope? And I do think that they will though. I think that uh, what's this guy's Deserby is figuring it out and learning. So anyway, so it looks good for Arsenal this match, but Brighton are a boogie team for Arsenal of recent years, and if we look at Did I mention this already at the start? Yeah, I think I did.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep,
Brighton's home record is quite good in terms of very few goals conceded. Yeah, so
yep.
this, if even Arsenal win, maybe it'd be just a 0-1 victory.
I still remember Brighton actually did score big against Chelsea at home, but Arsenal is a different beast, and we expect a tight game. We shall see. Yeah, I think this is an interesting match on Saturday night. Yeah, next game Spurs versus Villa, man. What's latest news from Spurs camp and Villa?
All right, so Loris is back. To be fair, he was on the bench, I think, last. So Romero is back, so that will shore up Spurs defense quite a bit more. And but Ben Tanko is still out, and that's, I
He's back from
guess.
suspension, Bentancur.
Yep. So other than that, we know Richarlison's out. So I guess the question is, will Perisic start this one? Yeah, because we know that maybe, I mean, of course, the worry is that he might need more time. But I think he will start. I mean, that's what the prediction. The only problem, of course, is when is our son coming back from where whatever dream world he's in. So we'll see. But okay, so Aston Villa, coming to Aston Villa, yeah, Ramsey quite important for Villa. But now Martinez, there were
Will
rumors that
Martinez starts?
Unai Emery didn't like how Martinez was very,
I
about what he
understand.
did at the World Cup. But he's still a more quality keeper than Olsen. So we don't know, he wants him sold, but in the trending transfer window, Martinez should still start until then. Uh, Villa gave Liverpool some trouble last week before Liverpool found that third goal. So I would expect that lineup to stay. And again, I don't see Spurs keeping a clean sheet, even though Romero and Loris are back, because I think Bailey is a good. I mean, it's my punt to actually score in this one, and we know how
Yeah.
cheap it is at 4.5, and it was just. And Bailey was like a mini Darwin in the sense that he had chances and just couldn't score.
Yeah.
But another option, I don't know, Digne. If Digne can improve under Emery, he might be an option again. But yeah, it could be just another
Yeah.
troll. But
Yep.
yeah.
Stay away for now, I suppose, until. But Spurs, they actually drew last game. They actually could lose against Brentford, but
Yeah.
this is the game that at home, so they will be better. Last game for game week 18, man. My team Forest versus Chelsea. We already know on in terms of Reece James not availability because their injury. What the rest been saying?
All right. So really about there's some issue with Jesse Lingard. Of course he had to flap his mouth before playing Manchester United the other day, and of course they got trashed. So him and should have just shut up. Anyway, but sorry, I know that's not what I asked, but yeah, the biggest concern with Forest is the fact that Morgan Gibbs White doesn't seem to be ready to return, and he is so key to that
Yep,
Forest attack.
I agree.
They pretty much rely on him. Without him, that attack just has a problem. So that's
Well, at least Dean Henderson will return this game in.
yeah. The biggest news for me there is Henderson's return, and you know what? He'll Forrest will probably lose, but he'll probably save a penalty again. Okay, come on, moving to Chelsea. So yeah, so looks maybe Potter has found the formula, although he's had to adjust it now with James out. Yeah, so the other side is got because a lot of people were trying to just do a like for like substitution of or transferring out James and bringing in and some other Chelsea asset. But I think Chilwell is not far away from recovery. I think I'm not sure, but so those who go for Cucurella might be I don't know, a rotation risk. So this one has Mount who although not being he wasn't a goal scorer at the World Cup, but he did. But come back. That's not his role in for Chelsea is different, and he scored. So Zakaria starting is the biggest thing, and the main problem was because Kovacic wasn't around. So the predicted lineup here has Zakaria, but I think if Kovacic is fit, he'll just go back to the straight lineup. He is, let's not forget, Kovacic is one of the fabled triple three midfield of Croatia, that
Yep.
incredible midfield. So yeah, I would expect Kovacic to slot back in if he's fit. Of course, the biggest question is as per the tweet, which is pretty much the main news, is the fact that not just Kovacic but Ziyech is back as well. Ziyech, as we know, was one of the stars of the World Cup, but he's a peripheral figure at Chelsea. So will they find space for him? Don't know. It's a wait and see.
Yep. So these are the predicted lineup. Okay. Racy James won't be available, and Azpi will slot in on the right side. Cucurella on the left side. Not sure why Thiago Silva is not here. Maybe the recovery period, but to be fair, Chelsea has the better period recovery in terms
Yeah,
of. Hmm.
Yeah, it's not mentioned. Let me just try and look up. But I remember watching that match, and there was at one point it looked like Thiago Silva was struggling, but he did complete the 90 minutes. So
Okay.
yeah, so there's no mention of it during the press conference unless there's anything in the embargo.
Okay. Right.
I just want to point out with Kepa is that it looks like his position is safe, uh, regardless of the fact that Mendy picked up an injury. Because the main thing for me is that Mendy, if he refused to sign a new contract, and I think part of the argument revolves around the fact that Mendy is, whatever his contract is probably still earning less than Kepa. So why,
Okay. Understand.
even though he was the first choice. So I think Kepa is a good pick now moving forward. So I will see that that ownership should go up if people have space to transfer a keeper.
Yep. All right. Let's see what's the traffic right now for Game Week 18. I actually take a snapshot before we go live. So the top transfer so far, surprise, surprise, Mr. Mitrovic, with almost 700,000 managers, has had enough with Silva sneaky conference and decided Mitrovic need to be in. And to be fair, Fulham will have double game week in 19. So I think it's much clear. Although the caveat later we touch, Mitrovic still on 4 yellow cards. So that's something that you need to be careful. Rashford, 14 points, second most transfer in this week with 464,000 managers. Believe he needs to be in. Mr. Tony, man, like you mentioned, even though he has like betting charges still lingering, but Tony is the third most transfer in this week with 295,000. Mr. Cucurella, maybe direct replacement with Reece James. 257,000 bring him in, and Cucurella price has actually increased to 5.2 million. And Mr. Almiron, I don't know why you do not bring him in your unlimited transfer, but he is the fifth most transfer in this week with 246,000. Who actually transfer out? The most transfer out this week is Reece James. No surprise, 1 month layoff will actually deter let managers to think to bring him out. 591,000 managers has done that. Do not want to keep him anymore. Jesus continue to flow out with 154,000 managers. Trossard, a surprise, but I'm not too sure because is in the thinking before this game, but he did not do anything against Southampton in game 17. 332,000 managers has shipped him out. Mr. Wilson, like you mentioned, his illness, he might not start this week. 310,000 managers has also transferred him out, and Mr. Madison continue to the traffic out with 333,000 managers. So what do you think, mate? The traffic for game week 18, is it what we are expecting?
Yeah, the transfers are not really much of a surprise. I guess the only thing is that Trossard, people are frustrated already. But at home we could do better. So I do feel that we do know Trossard can score against the bigger sides.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
we've
scored
seen
against
that.
Liverpool. He scored against Chelsea.
We've seen that. Yeah, we've seen that many times. So yeah, I feel that that's a mistake. Okay, so Jesus is more about okay. Are these all the teams who forgot to finish updating the teams, and then decide then only selling Jesus now because it's quite a lot there. Surprisingly, second highest. But anyway, but again, nothing because most of them injured with the exception of Trossard. So moving forward, yeah. So top transfers. So people aren't worried about the fact that Mitrovic is on 4 yellow cards. And they're going to risk it anyway, and especially with the impending double. But I think that even if there's impending double and he still gets suspended one on the match, he can still do damage for the second one. But yeah, Rashford, yeah. So those who didn't pick it up, yep, is on the Rashford train. Tony, I'm surprised. Yeah, because sure, Brentford did well. And yeah, to be fair, because they are playing West Ham, and even though it's away, I think people probably think that Brentford can score, and of course, if Brentford scores, Tony will be involved somehow. Still, Cucurella, yeah, I guess that seems to be the like for like popular James option, replacement option. I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure you didn't go for him, and I didn't go for him either. We'll see shortly. Almiron. So there's still more. Are these who think that he wouldn't continue, and then suddenly he's up, and then okay, we made a mistake. Let's bring him in. Yeah, because if you look at him, yeah, he's confident, and he walked off because he wasn't allowed to take the shot. He wasn't allowed to go off the long way. He had to go circle around, but he was milking in the affection from the crowd. The crowd were loving him, and he was just like clapping all the way. And he's amazing at the
Yep.
moment.
Like you mentioned, he's picking up the form where he left off before the World Cup, and Almiron should be in our team, I suppose. And Newcastle is high flying right now, so there really a lot of justification to bring him in. Okay, quickly before our team, the booking section or the suspension, the people are returning this week. Tyler Adams returns, Rodrigo Bentancur from Spurs, and also Mark Gill, like we touched just now. People who actually banned to play for this game 18, Casado, okay, from Brighton, he picked up 5th yellow card. He banned for this week, and no surprise, Tompkins and Michel being red carded, or Tompkins pick up 2 yellow cards and he's been suspended for this week. Michel, I think red cards, so that's why they will not be playing this week. Other than that, people on 4 yellow cards, let me remind everyone, Mitrovic is on 4 yellow cards as well as Kane. I think that's the major players that we should look out. Saliba is another one. If you're thinking, he's still on 4 yellow cards. Sa, 4 yellow cards also. I think who else that pop out here? Not sure about Bailey. Jesus, he will be out for quite some time, so no surprise there. Anything to share from this list, man?
Kane is still on 4 yellow cards there, so he's been at it. So yeah, so that's the risk there. I guess I'm no longer the person who subscribed to not picking up people who are on 4 yellow cards. There's a reason for that. We'll find out shortly. But coming for the band players like Tompkins, I think we mentioned earlier. So Tompkins isn't really a first team player. He's only there because Guel was suspended, so he'll be back. It's just the loss of Mitchell and Tyson are an issue. So nothing really, but yeah. I feel that you don't. I wouldn't worry too much about that 4th yellow and just roll with it.
Okay, let's go to my team. I already made my move. I see my team. As you can see here, Racy James is no longer in my team, and we are expecting Racy James' price to drop by at least 0.1 tonight, I suppose. He's at 5.8 million still, or he's already dropping, but we shall see. And a lot of traffic, like we can see just now, top transfer out for this week, and his price will definitely drop out soon. I have Kepa in goal, Cancelo I will play against Everton, Trippier leads, and Shaw has come in for Mr. Racy James. I feel in terms of picking who's the right player, I think there are a few people, but I already zoom into two player. I do not have a Arsenal defender, and a lot of people are going to play Ben White because I don't have him on my bench. So if I want to play any of Arsenal players, Gabriel, I will not definitely pick Saliba because he's on 4 yellow cards. Ben White is another one at 4.7. But I think I want to take punt on Manchester United fixture coming up. Wolves away this week and then Bournemouth home. So there are two February fixture before 20 and 21, which is they are facing tougher opponent like Man City and also Arsenal. But that's another conversation. Why I did not pick Ben White, say, because Arsenal face Brighton and then Newcastle. So I feel you want take advantage. I think Manchester United fixture are better for that short term at least. Okay, and then I can have some time to think of Arsenal asset to bring in later because they will double game week soon. There also a small chance Manchester United could double game week in 20 or 21, but that will not come too soon right now. But we already predicting, so that's why I bring in Shaw. Shaw price already increased to 4.9. So if I wait longer, his price could actually increase, even though his ownership still below 10%. So that's another frustrating why the price has hiked up. But that's the pattern right now. Salah is there. Rashford, Almiron, and Martinelli will start for me. Martial, Captain Haaland, and Darwin against Leicester. I expect Darwin to involve in that game. Okay, but Andreas is another thinking. If I want to think whether want to play him, but who I want to take out? Maybe Martial because in terms of his minutes, maybe Wolves are better side with the new manager. But I'm not too sure. I think I stick with Martial first. If last minute I want to think about playing Andreas, he could actually score something against Southampton, right? So that's fine. I think this is my teammate. Any comment? I bring him Shaw for Jesse James.
Yeah, no real issues with it. I think that the triple out for Manchester United is a decent work.
I never thought I'm going to triple up with Manchester United, but this is how it goes right now.
Well, a no Ronaldo side looking good at the moment. So yeah, the challenge with tripling up on Newcastle is finding that third player and having that defender. But Shaw he'll be restored to his former correct position where he'll be much better, and he'll probably have better chances to assist with crosses.
Yep. Correct.
Yeah, but as you mentioned, the problem is Andreas. Will he do something?
He might do something, but if I want to drop someone, but Martial could be on penalty, right?
Not Fernandes.
I don't know, but Martial did take penalty against Man City.
Oh, and Fernandes was still in the field, right? Yeah.
So not sure. If I'm lucky, I got penalty against Wolves, then Martial could take this kid. So
okay,
I think I'll play him. Okay. Okay, maybe we go to your team.
Okay, so I can go to my team. So
you already made your move or not yet?
Yes, I've made my move. Let me know when can you see it? Not yet?
Yep.
Okay,
definitely.
All right. So firstly is Guaita, which I was thinking, is there a concern? Should I really need to find a way to transfer up? But given the news coming out of the Bournemouth about some virus, I feel and the fact that it really is only the loss of Mitchell, that's gonna hurt a bit. So I feel that I'm safe putting in Guaita, and he does seem to be a good shot stopper, judging his saves last week. Okay, so Robertson, Trippier. So instead of James, I brought in Shah. I sold James for Shah because I do feel that they'll keep a clean sheet, and there's a chance of Shah always has a chance of direct free kick or headed goal. But of course, the risk there, and it's a risk I'm willing to take. He is on 4 yellow cards. So
Shah is what price? Is it 5 million?
the moment he is at 4.9, slightly more
Okay.
expensive than. So yeah. So the thing is, I tell you what, you know who I really wanted for this week, but I can't find space for him is Gumares. So I want Bruno Gumares because I do think he'll have a blockbuster, but there's just no space. So KDB, Almiron, and Andreas and Foden. So yes, I have moved Andreas into the starting lineup because I think Fulham can really trash Southampton. Uh, I'm just gonna have to trust Pep that Foden will start this one.
Yeah.
So that's
I still
another
so.
gamble. Yeah, Almiron standard, KDB as you were. Then in the front line, I have Mitrovic. So I have sold Tony. I have moved Tony on
Wow. So you
and
going?
brought
You,
in
you took
and
-4, is it?
pardon?
You took
Yes,
-4,
I've
is
taken
it?
my hit. Yeah, because I just feel Mitrovic's potential can't be underestimated. And again, but also again that risk of
Bold
four
move.
yellow card thing is still there as well.
Bold move. Bold move.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, Haaland captaincy as well, Darwin vice captain. But so who did I bench?
Is it Martinelli?
It is Martinelli. Yeah, I figured that if Brighton can it'll be a low keeps it as a low scoring game and keeps with their discipline of being hard to score at home, then I think it's worth the risk to bench Martinelli in favor of Andreas, who is playing home against Southampton.
Very
That's it.
ballsy move. Very ballsy move that I can say.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it actually paid off, and Mati did not do anything, and Shah keep a clean sheet or scored against Leeds. And then Mitrovic got a brace against Southampton. We just never know. So I think it's really strong side, and
Uh,
this -4 could
mo-
actually
more
good.
more likely Martinelli will come on for Foden, who's just disappeared straight away due to some another discipline issue by Foden. We'll see. But yeah, I'm happy with this. So yeah, even though I took a hit, but I think it's fine.
Yep. Guys, if you're interested of how different our approach, myself and Azmin, you can see there. Azmin is more bold in terms of
Yeah,
on his move. I like it. I'm not that kind of manager, but this could be something that we should explore if let's say you feel. I think Mitrovic could actually have a big game against uh Southampton. Yeah, I do feel so.
yeah,
Okay.
and just to it's just on the difference between us. The thing is, if Reece James hadn't got injured, Hafiz will probably just save his transfer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
that's
Definitely.
how it is.
All right,
Okay.
mate. We go to question, mate. Are we already up to one
Okay.
and 10 minutes mark?
Oh, okay. Let's quickly
Okay.
go through questions.
Just to remember, the deadline for today will be at 2:15 a.m. So we like 1 hour away from that deadline.
Okay.
So from
Yeah.
Zamzuri,
1 hour
my
away.
man,
Oh. Okay.
right? 2:15 a.m.
Yeah.
is the deadline.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah. But you already made your move, so no
I
worries.
didn't realize the time. Yeah, I
Okay,
didn't
so
realize.
Zam mentioned whether to bring in Saliba or Shaw. My first reaction is Saliba on 4 yellow cards. I won't bring him in, but Azmi might have a different say. I already bring Shaw, so that's what I'm thinking.
The thing is, I to be fair on my part, I don't expect Manchester United to keep a clean sheet. But I neither Arsenal, but in terms of the attacking points, I think Shaw has more potential. So I'm going for Shaw.
All right, next question from Oli G. KDB to Salah for a hit. I think Azmin, he's in your position. Would you do that?
What's the question? KDB,
KDB to Salah for a hit.
KDB to Salah for it. Okay, I don't know why I didn't see this now. Okay, KDB to Salah for a hit.
If you ask me, I won't do it this week. Definitely.
I can't. Yeah, I can't see myself doing it because Salas has a good matchup against Leicester, but so does KDB against Everton. Yeah, in terms of their defense is poor and both teams. Everton lost and Leicester lost as well. Um, I'd say no, don't. I don't think it'll be enough. I think both will score goals, but it won't be enough to justify one over the other.
I think so. You
Well,
just
Salah for a hit
yeah.
over KDB. Yeah.
I think just keep faith with KDB. If he scored double digit this week, people will change their mind coming to game week 19 and then game week 20. There's potential KDB double game week. So that's what I'm thinking. Rokugu, should I start Rodrigo or Trossard? Tough question, man.
Rodrigo, is this the Leeds guy?
Yeah.
No,
Both are facing
Trossard.
tough.
Trossard,
Yeah.
we
So
mentioned earlier, Trossard.
yeah. Leeds United face Newcastle and the
Yeah.
Brighton versus Arsenal.
Yeah, but Leeds are tired. Leeds are tired, so yeah, I'll definitely go for Trossard.
I think Trossard could actually score with any fixture. So that's we just mentioned. Okay.
I think he will.
Mr. Hayalo.
But no, it's one of those weeks where we sell Trossard and then and he's already in the top 5 of transfers sold, and he'll probably score this week. That's just what he does.
There is FPL Classic that I can tell you. Mr. Hazelo asked us, could KD be a good alternative captain this week? Man, you always do that. KDB as a captain instead of Haaland. I do not have that balls, but maybe you have.
Yeah, I think he might be, but I just don't have the balls at the moment. I'm trying to look at differentiation elsewhere because the Haaland differentiation of captaincy has burned me in the past, and I feel like I want to play safe with Haaland captain and look for differentials elsewhere rather than risk this kind of move. It could pay off. It's a big risk, big return.
Okay, Azmi already I cannot say that he already made his mind in terms of Haaland captain, but say I just put into a conversation here Salah as an alternative captain. What do you think? He actually scored 12 points last week against Leicester.
I think that's a safe play because Salah is the outstanding player for Liverpool at the moment. Yeah. So like Haaland is the outstanding player, no doubt, no question. Yeah, and on Liverpool's side, it is Salah, although he's quite far away from Haaland at the moment, but it's he's still capable. So yeah, he could be,
right.
But not KDB. Yeah.
Nafkan did ask this question. I think same dilemma that I mentioned. Shaw or White as James replacement. For me, I chose Shaw based on my reasoning just now in terms of short-term fixture. But I feel in terms of long-term, Arsenal defense is the one that you need to get.
It is. But the question is, because the problem now with White is that he's not playing in his natural position. Right now, he's playing as a right back, where Tomiyasu could come in, and Tomiyasu is available now. So I feel that with Arteta, it might be a horses for courses, meaning it'll depend on who they play and then put in that player. I don't know, because now that Tomiyasu fit, it does raise a question. Shaw. Okay. So Shaw. The answer, Shaw. Sorry.
Next, from Ethan Ballard, Salah captain for Whites means that he wants to captain Salah instead of Haaland. So maybe we can think of that. Although, I think we can see where is your position, right, in terms of ranking. Maybe if you are really differential, but Haaland is carried if you're not captaining, and if he delivers like another hat-trick,
yeah, he's just ultra confident, but so is Salah, I guess, at the moment. Well, judging from your profile pic, you're a Liverpool fan, so yeah, go for your vibes. I support you. I don't have Salah, otherwise maybe I will join you.
Okay. Next, from Isam Karaman, Mitro or Martial, if we have a choice to bring people in, I think Mitro definitely, because game week 19 is coming up. Man, you already did that.
Yeah, so for me, it's a case of who's the most outstanding player of that team. In this case, it's Mitro. For Fulham, it's Mitro, but for Manchester United case, I'd say Rashford is the more outstanding pick, simply because midfield and cheap. Yeah,
I agree. The caveat for Mitro, however, is he's on 4 yellow cards. If not, nasib tak baik lah. Unlucky, got yellow card against Southampton. He will not play. The first fixture for that double game week, main. Sekejap, let me check, double check. It's actually Leicester, which you want Mitrovic to play instead of Chelsea. So you miss Leicester and then you play Chelsea, but Mitrovic can score with any team, right? All day long.
Yeah,
So,
he can score with other team, but yeah.
okay, just put a caveat there for you, I said. And
No,
last but not least, soccer lover, should I start Wilson or Solanke, man? I'm not sure whether people are having this, but
soccer
basically the
lover,
news. Hmm.
because Wilson's problem is that he could easily get croaked again, and we're not sure whether he'll start this one. So Lanke's problem is that Bournemouth are hence. I mean, there's this worry about Bournemouth's health, overall health. But if given a choice, I'd stay Solanke because he's safer. If he's there, he'll
20
definitely start.
minutes.
Yeah, and and he's more like, and he'll definitely get more minutes than Wilson, who'll be subbed off to protect him of all sorts.
All right. Thank you all for the question. And once again, before we wrap up, man, the deadline will be at 2:15 a.m. because at 3:45, West Ham will play Brentford. So that's about it. This is the Game Week 18 deadline stream. We already over. Maybe your last word, man.
I no longer have any players for the early match kickoff, so I'm just gonna have a good sleep. So all the best,
Yes,
everyone.
you got Robertson and Darwin at 4 a.m. So okay, Liverpool are playing tonight.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
oh my. Why do I
Yeah.
hang on?
Yeah. Liverpool and Leicester and West Ham and Brentford tonight.
Okay,
So
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, viewers. I've totally misread the fixtures. Hafiz, you should have told me. Now I had to shoot. That one is. Okay, all right. Well, we'll figure it out. Okay. Well, never mind.
okay, thank you guys for
Okay.
joining. If you like our stream, do hit the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. All the best to everyone for Game Week 18, and we shall see on Game Week 19 deadline stream. Thank you. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye.